What? My label needed to go through label compliance first? Oh my gosh, you guys, I hear that all the time. They get here and they're like, all right, we're ready. We're gonna order 10,000 labels. And we ask for all these parameters and they are just like, wait, it needed to go through compliance? What does that mean? What is USDA compliance? What is FDA compliance? And getting approved from the FDA or the USDA takes quite a bit of time, actually. We're gonna go into just the very general topics of label compliance and a couple things that might get you guys started or questions you should be asking at this point. What is label compliance? Well, that's making sure that your product meets all USDA and FDA regulation standards and according to your guys' specific industry. So within this category of compliance, we have the main government and the USDA, FDA, kind of that top tier category of they're overseeing everything that's going through and having approval. Then within your own, I would say, industry, so like cosmetics follow certain regulations, supplements follow certain regulations, the CBD has their own regulations, and there are also some state laws that go with this. So it can get very in-depth, but just generally speaking, walk away knowing, or thinking, okay, I need to ask, what does my state need to see? What does the government need to see? And how does my industry handle these things? One of the main questions would be, does my label need to go through the process? I would generally say yes. If they're ingesting anything, using it on their body, where is it going? Could they have an allergy from it? Could it cause a reaction of any type? Yes, you need to have these regulated ingredients usually on the bottles, containers, packages, anything. So with that being said, I would say yes, you need to go through compliance. And if you're unsure of that, we can always help you. And in all honesty, I would always do that just to protect you as well, because you want to make sure that if somebody does have an allergy, they're gonna look on the back of the container and say, oh my gosh, did it say kiwi? Did it say peanuts? Like, yes, you want to put that on there to protect yourself legally. That way it's on there and everything. What should go on your label? I know a lot of times there's that question of, oh my gosh, I can't fit everything on this tiny little label. Like, how am I gonna fit all that information on a tiny little thing? Here are some of the top things that should be on your guys' labels. Product description, so you wanna have a general description of what it is. A date marked, so when did you make it, when was it produced? Net weight, the volume, you wanna put ingredients in it, obviously. And each category of industry has different regulations with that. Nutritional information, allergy warnings, country of origin, name and address, lot numbers, barcodes. And lastly, you're gonna need to have, does it need to be sell by, used by, expiration date, which one of those does it fall under? Some of the basics of why we're putting these things on there and why they're regulating it. Like, you wanna know if there's any, you want to be able to track everything back to a certain spot too. I think one of the reasons the FDA and the USDA want to do this is because if they put, we're all familiar with recalls and things of that nature. So you want to be able to have your lot number on it, making sure you know what facility was it packaged in. Are there certain types of foodborne illnesses that could go with this? Where is it going to be tracked back to? Those are some of the purposes behind it. And I definitely think as a consumer that's important. And I think it's important for you guys as well, putting products out there, because you want to make sure that you're doing everything the best you can to prevent some of this stuff. So I know one of the new and upcoming things in this industry that we've dealt with is CBD labels and CBD products going into the FDA regulated or the USDA regulated process. I know it's exciting that we're able to kind of get out there and package these things and put them in a different market. So now they're maybe in the cosmetic market, or maybe they're falling into a food product. And that's gonna be super great, because you guys are gonna have a lot of room for growth in different industries. But we wanna make sure that you have all the regulated information on there. I think it's extremely important. And the reason I think this topic is super important too is because people are consuming your products, and you guys want to have your stuff labeled properly because you want to make sure that you're being safe. Not only is it going to protect the consumers and educate them on what they're consuming, it's going to help you and making sure that you guys are safe legally, because if something was to happen, you have all your ducks in a row, that you were as safe as you could possibly be with your product, and informing your buyers on what they're getting. And I think that's a great way to actually earn more customers, because you are giving them all the information. Again, we take it really serious as well. We have a great deal of processes here to make sure that we stay in compliance and that we're making sure we follow and get you guys up to standards with those regulations and rules too. It's something we definitely are passionate about, and I want you guys to take that seriously, so we try to take time to prepare with you guys as well. If you guys do have questions, we have partners and people we can get you set up with in that process. If you guys have people you already have worked with, then we can absolutely take your label and make sure that it is printed with high quality. Another big topic, what is direct food contact? That is definitely a whole nother video we're gonna make on that. But generally speaking, direct food contact means, does the ink transfer to the food? Where is the label being transferred? Where is the label being put on the package? So is it transferring to the food? Is it a package within a package? And there are a bunch of other regulations with that to protect consumers from basically, are they eating ink? Are they not? How much can transfer? How much cannot? This gets a little bit more in depth with, what type of printing is it? Feel comfortable asking your guys' label vendors, how do they keep everything organized? What is their ink? What are they using? And I think that's an important question. Again, we'll go into that a little bit later, but it is a big thing in the food industry. So after you go through the entire process of getting your guys' labels approved, you might have already been working with a designer, but if you need some edits or extra tweaks to your stuff, we can provide you with a bunch of graphic artists who will create the high resolution artwork, and we can make any of those tweaks you need to make sure you're in compliance. Again, I think when you are choosing a label vendor, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have someone who is confident in their process and making sure that the artwork you have on your label that has been approved by the FDA and everything with that doesn't get transferred in the printing process. I know, being on the back end of all this stuff, it can be a little bit confusing and some things can get switched, or maybe text might drop off. I think it's important to ask those processes when you guys are deciding who you're gonna use. And don't be afraid to ask that, because I think that is a very legit question. How do you handle your artwork? What processes does your artwork go through in order to keep everything aligned and in order from what has been approved from the government and the FDA or USDA? And always, always, always double check your labels when you get them. Make sure when you're getting those electronic proofs, you look through to make sure, all right, is the origin on there? How are the ingredients looking? Are they in the order they're supposed to be in? And then again, when you receive your products, I would always do a double check on that, because you just never know. To recap on this video, the goal is to kind of give you the information and make you aware of label compliance and actually what a big thing it is out there. So we talked about what it was and how different industries go into different categories and all the laws and sub-laws, all that. We talked about the design and how important that is. And again, in the next video, I'm gonna go more in depth about food contact and direct food contact with the labeling process. And I hope to see you there and help you guys through that as well. Oh my God. What do they say? I buy stuff. Is it sell by or expired? They were gonna go through. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. I totally... It feels weird to end it that way. Hey, check out our next video to... Wow, I was really focusing.
The words were great. Just you say it
What did I even say? Okay. I didn't end it the way you wanted me to end it, but...